Oh boy. You know, every time some new information comes out about Andrew Wilson and EA, like, I don't want to talk about EA because I think the company is trash, but they keep on saying things and doing things that just, defy logic. So, once again, I'm going to talk about some stupid shit that Andrew Wilson has said. This was in a Forbes interview that he basically made. So without much ado, let's get to it. Well, I was going to say after the cut, but I have to state, I have to set the stage first. Basically, Andrew Wilson in this Forbes interview made some excuses as to why Anthem essentially failed. Failed very hard. So basically, his excuse boiled down, I'm not going to read the article because I don't feel like going to Forbes and doing it, but basically it boiled down to 3 reasons why Anthem failed. First one he said was because the group of gamers who made the gaming populace of Anthem, didn't work together to make the game a success, which is kind of disingenuous and full of shit. It's bullshit marketing speak that doesn't talk about what's really going on. And then the second thing he said was, Anthem is a different type of game. It was a difficult game to launch. Once again, another bullshit platitude, essentially. And the last thing he said was, well, basically, we'll continue to support Anthem until it's what it needs to be. Okay, so I'm going to dismantle those 3 arguments after the cut. Okay, so Andrew Wilson's already fucked up. And to say that this man runs a multi-billion-dollar company, and yet he made one of the cardinal business mistakes, which is blame your customers. You never blame your customers, all right? Essentially, blaming your customers, if you're EA and you blame the gamers who bought your game for why the game failed, it's the equivalent of you owning a restaurant and you basically, let's say it's a steak restaurant, and your customers say, hey, we want this steak medium. And when they get the steak, it's basically like ultra well done. Like, it's so tough and leathery that you could use it as a blackjack and knock someone the fuck out with it. And then when they complain about it, you say, well, it's your fault that it's like that. It's like, no, look. The relationship, like business, everyone thinks that business is about money. Business is about relationships. Okay? Every business is about relationships. It's your relationship with that business, by whatever product they have, okay? That's what it's about, okay? It's the reason why people go to one place over another, because they feel like they have that relationship. Now, it's like all relationships, there's quid pro quo, this for that, give and take, back and forth, okay? So the relationship should be, hey, I made this product, I want you to buy this product, and basically, how am I going to get you to buy this product? Well, I'm going to make this product as well as I can within my budget so that it's satisfactory to you, the consumer. What you're going to do is buy it, right? If I make a good product within my budget so that when I sell it to you, it turns a profit, and you buy it, that relationship is fulfilled, okay? But at no point does that mean the consumer has to fix that product, okay? Or is responsible to make that product successful. Your responsibility as a consumer ends once you buy that product. If they don't know how to basically make that product marketable to a wider audience or wide enough audience to turn big profits, that's on them. That's on the people who made it. That has nothing to do with the consumer. So the fact that Andrew Wilson would say something like that tells me he needs to be fired. Really, if you're blaming consumers, you need to be fired, because it's not consumers' fault that Anthem failed. So basically, to debunk let's blame the consumers, the fault of why Anthem failed falls on EA and BioWare. EA, because basically EA was pulling the strings behind a lot of the things that were going on at BioWare. They're the ones who, ran out the two founders of the company. They're the ones who essentially spent a ton. They're the ones who basically pulled staff away from BioWare Edmonton that were making Mass Effect Andromeda. Which, here's the thing: Mass Effect Andromeda is not a good game, but there's things in the game that had enough time to percolate and work, it could have been decent. It could have been a good start to a new Mass Effect trilogy. Because people forget, the first Mass Effect game is not easy to go back and play. It really does not have the best playability. It's not a bad game, it's just not easy to get into. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Basically, so, Anthem failed because, like I said, BioWare didn't have the staff to really make it a good game. And plus, and this is just keeping it real, BioWare has not really had a good run of games, okay? The last 5 games they've made have been arguably good, or should I say arguably bad, right? You could make a good argument that none of them were good. Mass Effect 3 was by far the most decent game they had, but I mean, that game is still not a good game. Then you have Dragon Age Inquisition, not good. Then you have Mass Effect Andromeda, not good. You have Dragon Age 2, not good. And then, to bring everything together, you've got fucking Anthem. So you've had 5, and I'm not even including the Old Republic, because that's an MMO and that's a completely different kettle of fish. Which leads to my second point of why Anthem failed. The one game that was most like Anthem, which Anthem is supposed to be this MMO light type thing, kind of like Destiny. The one MMO that BioWare made is suffered from the same issues that Anthem is suffering from. And believe me, I was one of the founding members, the people who bought that shit early and got all the little bennies and got the special edition and shit, because I was so into SWTOR at the time. Basically the same. Why are people mad about Anthem right now? Lack of in-game content, and a complete and total lack of meaningful loot, and also a complete lack of interesting gameplay mechanics. Where have we heard that before? Same thing happened with SWTOR the first year. It's the reason why it went from a subscription-based model to a free-to-play model. Because in the first year, the game fucking went, the end game was bland. There was nothing to do. You could basically go to this shitty little battle planet and have PvP and a little bit of PvE. And even the PvP wasn't that good. Nothing was good about it. The in-game content sucked. It was way too grindy, or it just the loot wasn't really worth it. The same issue. So BioWare has proven that they cannot make these types of games. And EA let them go along with it. So they already fucked up. So with that being said, let's move on to the second argument after the cut. Anthem suffered from a clear lack of vision. And that's a fact. Literally, no one knew what they wanted it to be. And, I mean, people thought, well, BioWare's making it, so it's going to have a great story. BioWare's story is trash. I mean, the combat is serviceable. The only good thing about the game is the traversal mechanic, which you have this fucking Iron Man type suit that you can fly around in. But here's the problem with that entire statement, okay? If you had an action-adventure game, okay, where the best mechanic of the action-adventure game was the jump, everything else sucked about it, but the jump was good, that's still a shitty game. Just because the jump is interesting doesn't mean that, that doesn't redeem the other factors that need to be in a good game in order to make it good. And that's dangerous. And the fact that BioWare and EA did that is really fucked up. So basically, the big thing that people need to understand is that, like, this game was mismarketed for its entire run. Because EA said, well, it's going to be a BioWare game. Well, what does that mean? Because when someone says BioWare to me, I think, okay, RPG. Western RPG, important choices, kind of deep story, interesting characters. The gameplay's going to be meh, but, like so many other factors are good that you let the gameplay kind of slide a little bit. Did we get, like, has BioWare made a game of that quality lately? Fuck no. So why would you trust, And then, on the opposite end of the spectrum, while EA was marketing, Anthem as being a return to the BioWare experience, BioWare, like, the BioWare writers are like, man, it's refreshing to make a game where you don't have to worry about story. But you guys make RPGs. That's like the most important part of an RPG is the story. The story and characters. Jesus, what type of bullshit is this? That's what it felt like. But, who am I to judge? But anyway, so essentially, like, it was mismarketed to start with, and there was a clear lack of leadership in the development hall, in the development room. And I know some people are going to be like, what do you mean? It's what are you talking about? It was clearly mismanaged, okay? And there was a clear lack of leadership going on at BioWare, and it's sad to say because it's like everyone's running around like a chicken with their head cut off. Like there's no leadership. There's no, okay, this is doable. This isn't doable. Let's get this done. It's just people, do whatever the hell you want, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, we tried. So with that being said, I'll give the third reason why Anthem failed after the cut. So, the big thing that I've kind of noticed about a lot of games, coming from a lot of games that just have been failing miserably for the last few years, is people putting out games that are fundamentally broken and then fixing them as time goes by, but not when they come out. You know what I mean? And that bothers me for a variety of reasons. I mean, like, someone shouldn't get praise for selling you broken shit, but that's what we're getting. And I think that's why a lot of these people are so, well, games as a service. See, like, Anthem, when it came out, was fundamentally an incomplete game, okay? We had another game come out this year that was fundamentally incomplete when it came out, Fallout 76. Like, it seems that the video game industry wants to basically sell you incomplete products at premium prices, and then not have any culpability or responsibility to make the game be what it should be. And that is just fucked up. I mean, like, could you imagine if you went to a high class restaurant and you spent buku cash on a meal and the meal was all fucked up, and then when you went to complain about it, they were like, well, shit, it's your fault. It's like, no, motherfucker. I paid you money. I expected this, this thing. And that's basically what we're having going on in the video game industry right now. I will be doing a video about how basically this culture, what big time publishers really mean when they say they want games as a service and they want a service model, versus what platform holders like Google and Microsoft mean when they say they want games as a service, versus what consumers mean when they say they want games as a service. So with that being said, I'll do the overview after the cut. So here we go. Basically, the big thing that you have to keep in mind is that, Andrew Wilson, I know some people are going to be like, how could he do that? Look, listen. When you are a CEO of a company that's publicly traded, you're going to lie your ass off in order to make money, all right? For your shareholders, all right, and the board members, okay? Especially when like 100% of EA is traded. So it's not like a Nintendo situation where it's like only about 30 to 40% of the company is publicly traded, and the vast majority is held privately by the board. It's not like that with EA. It's publicly traded, and the man has to answer to his shareholders. And I'm not one of those people, man, fuck the shareholders, because here's the thing, okay? If you own stocks that have dividends, you're expecting to get your fucking dividends, all right? And if you call yourself a video gamer and you don't acknowledge that there's a part of this business that's about money, then, I mean, you can have that view, but you kind of diminish your ability to complain about shit, because basically, how can you complain about shit when literally, everything that you're going about is, I mean, it can be explained by just people trying to make money. And I'm not going to get mad at people who want to make money, because look, it's business, okay? They want to make money, You buy stocks, you want to make money off of it. No one just buys stocks just for the sake of, well, I just like owning part of a company, okay? But with that being said, the man's lying in order to shore it up. This whole BioWare, I stand by BioWare shit, it's all just a ruse so that the man can basically get people to essentially buy the next BioWare game. That's probably going to be a piece of shit, but whatever. So, every Wednesday and Saturday we have a BS Busters podcast from 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Remember, you can rate, comment, share, subscribe. You can reach me on Gmail at mrredfoxbsbusters@gmail.com, or on Twitter at Matthew Wesley at mrredfox91. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe, ding the bell. Peace!